Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. I am JB, setting up in the studio, and at Chase Field, Chris Owings of the Arizona Diamondbacks will be fielding your questions. It's going to be a good cage, I can tell, and I've done a few. Chris, thanks for being with us.
Yeah, no problem. Good to be here.
Fans, you know the drill. Get fired up. Get your laptop, your tablet, your device going. Use the MLB Fans app and join us right here in the cage. Get some FaceTime with your favorite player there in Chris Owings. Meanwhile, I will use social media, a la Twitter and the MLB Fans app, as I fire that up right now, to get some questions going while fans join us. I'm going to go to the Fans app. This is from the Orange Bird 10. This is going back. Chris, what player did you look up to when you were growing up?
That's an easy one for me. I actually just watched a little show about him the other day when he got his 3,000th hit. Derek Jeter. Just love the way he played the game, and it's kind of hard not to like him.
That is pretty much the assessment of Derek Jeter from just about anybody that's had a chance to watch him play or grow up watching him or play with him. He, as the captain, was one of the great ones. There you go, folks, just like that. That's how the cage works. This fan will join us. Hey, we got a fan there, some sporty red headphones. What's your name, where you're from, what's your question for Chris?
My question for you, Chris, was when you're stepping up to the plate, what's going through your head?
Just trying to keep it simple is the biggest thing. Just trying to have I do my approach and get my timing down when I'm on deck circle, and then kind of going up there and seeing what the situation is, and just taking it easy and just trying to be relaxed up there, and just trying to have a good at bat.
An excellent question from a young fan there as we talk to Chris Owings of the D-backs. And this is the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. I'll go back to the MLB Fans app right now. And those who don't know will learn now. This is from Carpy Fishing, obviously a fisherman from Kansas City. What was it like watching your brother win the College World Series in Omaha?
It was exciting. I was actually lucky enough, well, not lucky, I was on the DL. So we have Sundays off, so I was fortunate enough to end up flying out and going to watch a game when they beat Florida for their opening game. So that was pretty cool. It was just a special experience getting able to be there and support him. And I haven't been able to see him play too much because I've been playing baseball myself. So just really exciting experience. And man, I was nerve-wracking. I was super nervous when they were leading in the ninth and they had a couple runners on and 3-2 count and ended up striking the guy out. So. Great experience.
It certainly was one of the more thrilling runs in Omaha in recent memory. There's no doubt about that, and it was fun to see a major leaguer like yourself with a brother in action out there. It certainly, as fans, we really love seeing the personal stories like that. That's a really cool story. Another fan is joining us here in the cage. There he is. What's your name? What's your question for Chris?
My name is Daniel. I'm from Audubon, New Jersey, and I would like to know, but if you could choose a position other than what you play now in the major leagues, which is shortstop, what would it be and why?
Well, this year's kind of been unique for me. I actually had my first opening day this year. I played center field with A.J. Pollock getting hurt this spring training. I kind of shifted out to center field, and I got about 45 games out there, and so that was kind of a new experience for me playing a different position, but I don't know, maybe a catcher. I feel like that's always something, even when I was younger, I was always wanting to put the gear on and get back behind home plate. But it's kind of been a unique year for me. I've played short, second, and center this year. So I've kind of played all over the place a little bit this year.
And to a lot of success on that too, Chris. I got to ask, just as a personal aside on that, that's at the big league level, just to be like, hey, here's the deal. This is what the team needs. Are you up for it? And to be successful at that level, has there been a work routine? Has there been some part of it that you found surprisingly that went well for you?
I feel like just talking with A.J. Pollock, when he was hurt, he was giving me a lot of advice out there, and our outfield coach, Dave McKay, did a great job just working with me before BP, getting my reads in, working on my first step. I credit, to the success I had out there a lot to him and AJ.
Great stuff. Thanks for sharing that insight to you. It was a great question from the fan, Daniel, there in New Jersey. We're going to go now with the EDJ question of the day. It's about one of your teammates. What was it like when you faced Zach Greinke as opposed to being on the same team? So how happy are you now that you don't have to face him now that he's on your team?
Very happy. It's nice having a guy like that on our squad for sure. Facing him in the box, he's just super prepared and going up there, and his ball just gets on you. And I know this spring training, I was really happy getting a chance to play shortstop behind him.
It certainly is a nice turn of events there when somebody that great goes from being a division rival to being the guy you're playing behind. This is the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. That's Chris Owings. I'm JB. Fans, get involved. Hashtag Chatting Cage on Twitter, or fire up your device and join us like this fan finding his way into the shot. What's your name? What's your question for Chris?
My name is Mauricio Palmer from Arnold, Maryland, and I'm just wondering if you didn't get drafted, what would you have done for a living?
What would I have done for a living? I don't know, man. That's a tough one. I kind of played baseball ever since I was a young boy, and whenever anybody asked me what I wanted to be, I always said a baseball player. You know what? I that's a tough question. I don't know. I always kind of feel like maybe a policeman comes to mind or something like that, going into the police academy or something like that, and helping out the city. But that's a tough one because I really haven't thought about it.
That's when somebody sets a goal like that and stays on it. There you have it, folks. Good question from Mauricio,
That's
though.
right.
You want to know what it might be? Well asked as well. We go back to the MLB Fans app. Walden45 would like to know why the number 16?
That's the number that was put in my locker when I made my big league debut. Like I said, my favorite player was Derek Jeter, so I always kind of wore 2 growing up, and then I kind of switched to 5 in high school. But 16 was just the number that was in my locker, and I got family and friends that have bought some jerseys, so I kind of feel bad if I make them have to buy a new one. So I'm just keeping it at 16 right now.
Outstanding. Chris Owens for the fans out there, looking out for you guys. Knowing that you got the 16 now, he's got the 16. He's going to stick with that. That's amazing. We talked about that. So that was the locker that was the jersey that was in your locker when you got called up. T. Felix off the MLB Fan app would like to know, what is that feeling? What was that feeling for you when you did get called up?
Man, it was pretty awesome. I played the whole year in Reno in 2013 and had a good year. And I remember Brett Butler was my AAA manager at the time, and he brought me into his office. And after the last game of the season, was just kind of telling me that this was my reward for having a good year, and all the hard work I put in. And but showing up that first day to Chase Field was pretty special, and you get goosebumps thinking about it, and just living the dream.
So true, and such a great moment. Congratulations on that, and a great season thus far. This is the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. I am JB. That is Chris Owings of the Arizona Diamondbacks. This is a fan. Fan, what's your name? What's your question for Chris?
Hi, Anthony from Scottsdale. I wanted to know if you had any pregame superstitions.
Pre-game superstitions? Not really. I wouldn't say I have any superstitions, but I try to keep a good routine and try to stick to it. Getting ready for the game at a certain time. I've seen some guys have some crazy routines and superstitions, but I try to keep it low key, and we play so many games that you can't have a crazy superstition and try to stick to that for 162 games.
I hadn't actually thought about just the practical idea of too crazy a superstition or routine that you would have to do it for 6 months. It would actually just run out of time.
Exactly.
This is the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. Chris Owings is answering your questions. I go back to the app. Los Angelino wants to know, Chris, what is the best food in Arizona?
What is the best food in Arizona? Gosh, there's so many to choose from. If I'm going out to eat at a restaurant, I'm probably gonna go to either True Foods if I'm feeling healthy, but if I'm not, probably Grimaldi's. I might have got some pizza from there yesterday to watch the football game.
like that you might have. We're not sure. It's not breaking the news, but we might have done that to watch the game. Indeed. A great time of year as we wind up here in September. Hashtag Chatting Cage, folks, and I'll read it off Twitter, or use the MLB Fans app, or get your device and get FaceTime with Chris right here. Meanwhile, I will go back to that. We talked about your brother winning the World Series earlier. Let's talk about some other question that Shy Cubby wants to know. How does it feel knowing that you might be able to play at the big leagues one day with your brother?
It's pretty cool. I've been the middle child, so I played with my older brother in high school. Basically, my whole life we played together, and my little brother, I was a senior in high school, and he ended up being a freshman, so we got to play together too. So I've got to play with both of them, and just the thought of being in the big leagues with your little brother is pretty crazy. So they're actually in the playoffs right now, so I've been keeping up with them. He's playing tonight, so good luck to them. And it would be an unreal experience if he if he keeps working hard and gets the ways up here.
It is amazing, and again, we wish you guys all the best in that. That's certainly a cool story. It's great to see families that not only just get along, but also can support each other in that way. I go back to the app now. This is from Red Bostonian. Which ballpark, Chris, do you feel like you have the most success in?
Which ballpark do I feel like I have the most success in?
Yeah.
We'd have to break out the stat sheet for that one. I always feel comfortable coming home. It's nice to play here. You get comfortable playing in your home park, and playing at Chase Field is awesome. The weather's great because we can close the roof here. You're playing in air conditioning, so there's a great batter's eye. So I probably just have to say, playing at home is where I'm most comfortable.
It's a good answer there, and certainly a beautiful, beautiful park to play in. One of the great ones to watch a game in, without a doubt. As I can speak from personal experience of that, love getting down there to Arizona to watch those Diamondbacks play. Fan is with us. What's your name? What's your question for Chris?
Hey man, it's Ryan from Tempe. I was wondering, what are your hobbies outside of baseball?
Hobbies outside of baseball. I actually just got a new set of golf clubs, so that is one that I definitely enjoy golfing in the off season. I would say that's probably the main thing, but me and my fiance just got a dog recently, so that's been we've been training him and taking care of him. So I would say golfing and just taking care of him is probably the main things that I enjoy doing in the off season.
Two great things that will keep you plenty busy. Both.
Exactly.
Dog's probably a little less frustrating now and again. Every once in a while, golf can wear you out.
Yeah, exactly, right.
One more question, because this seems to be from a young fan before we let you go. Chris, thanks for being with us. From M Trout 27, any advice for a high school shortstop who would love to make it to the bigs?
High school shortstop trying to get to the big leagues. It sounds very familiar. I would just say keep working hard, man. Looking back to when I was in high school and just trying to work my way, to get into college first, and then being fortunate enough to get drafted. I would just say working hard is the biggest thing. Whenever you get an opportunity to play or to go out and play summer ball or fall ball or high school baseball, playing with your buddies, just enjoy it and keep working hard. And if this is something that you really want to do, you'll get around the right people and make it happen.
Great advice there for you, M Trout 27 from Chris Owings. Chris, did you have a good time today? We always hope that that's what we had, and I put you on the spot to ask you. Did you have a good time with the fans?
Yeah, I had a great time. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, always a pleasure. Thanks to you. Congratulations on a great season. We'll talk to you again, no doubt. That's Chris Owings. I'm JB. We'll see you, fans, on the next round of the Edward Jones Chatting Cage.